A team that has not taken their eye off the ball, if you can call it that, is the Cavs Summer League team. Now, mind you, there's a bunch of guys that probably won't make this team, but I will say the Cavs have a couple of names that we're familiar with. Isaiah Mobley, the brother of Evan Mobley, has been playing very well. But the question and the big surprise last night in the game was Sam Merrill. I think he set the record for three-pointers in in Summer League. I think he was how many threes did he hit yesterday? 8? I think it was 8.
Yeah, look it up. 1 second.
I think it was 8.
I think it's 8 for 11.
He's 8 for 11 from 3. So I mean, he wasn't missing. I mean, it was all net. So he's been a guy, and I did not know this. Evidently, he was the MVP. Not the MVP, but he was the first pick overall in the G League.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they had a draft.
I didn't either. McNuggets said that to us yesterday, and I was like,
let's get into this. Obviously you got Emoni Bates, obviously Sam Merrill, and but basically, we saw about Emoni Bates and Sam Merrill. When it comes to Summer League, what are you looking for, right? If you're gonna watch Summer League, does any of that count? Just the same way, like if you're talking about training camp for a young kid, does anything in training camp for you, Tyvis, count compared to the other guys?
I think for me, I hate Jason, first of all, because I just know your answer. For me, when I watch Summer League games, I look at the flow. Can they run the offense? Do they make the right decisions when they have the ball? And, for Emoni Bates, we went over it yesterday with McNuggets. It was times where he did bad things, but it was some times where he knew what to do in certain situations. And I think as he keeps going, it's getting better and better. Obviously, for us, the first game, we wanted him to come in, and I told you my expectation was 15. He got 16 points. But he didn't have no assists. He wasn't really getting his teammates involved. He was really just catching and firing the thing. And he was doing this same little pullback and shooting it. And then game 2, you see him, swing the ball around a couple of more times, but he still took some bad shots. And I think when you watch this last game, he shot the ball more confidently. He swung the ball a lot more. He only finished with 1 assist, but he swung the ball around. So they're in his ear telling him what he needs to do to get better. And you can see that he's trying to apply it to there. His shot was just falling yesterday. I mean, his shot was crazy yesterday. So I think ultimately what I'm finding out about Emoni Bates is it's a kid who wants to learn. He wants to get better, and he's trying to apply it to his game, but he's not losing who he is inside of that as well.
Yeah, I like the way you approach this, and Jason.
I don't want to hear what he says.
Now, I'm going to pose it a different way, right? I'm going to pose it a different way.
Because if you say, does Summer League mean anything? No, it doesn't. I don't want to hear him say that.
From a standpoint of, you got a kid. The MO on the kid was he's not playing basketball the right way. He has some issues. It's going to take some time for him to, grow and gel or grow up in front of your eyes. But when you listen to Kobe and JB talk about him in some of those interviews, and they say we're not trying to put any pressure on him, we're just gonna let him grow, come along slowly. Are you encouraged by that approach, and also seeing that obviously they are talking to him about the way he plays the game, and he's trying to make conscious efforts to do that because you see it in this game on the court. Is that something that is valuable?
Yeah, when Kobe's saying that, he's telling you he's not going to play for us this year. That's what he's telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to tell you that Emoni Bates is never going to be a productive NBA player. I'm not going to cap a kid at 19 at what he can and can't do, put a ceiling on what he can and can't do. I'm pessimistic that he'll ever be an actual contributor, but I mean, he's got a lot of learning and growth to do. But I'm like this year, people talking about this year, he's going to be the starting small forward, or he's going to be. No, he's not. If you go back and look at the history of second-round picks, even Draymond Green, even Jokic, these guys don't play their first year, very, very little, very sparingly, because they got a lot to learn. There's a reason that they were picked where they were. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't learn and develop and grow into something in year 2, 3, 4. Sam Merrill's a good example. Max Strus in Miami was that guy at one time, and it took 3-4 years for these guys to sort of figure it out and put it together. Sam Merrill's now had 3 years in the NBA. That's a much different. I mean, Sam Merrill, I think, is like 26 years old. Emoni Bates is 19. Like, just think about that, the difference in 7 years. So, I mean, listen, could Merrill come in and help them at some point this year? I'd have more faith in that than I would Emoni Bates right now, just because Merrill's been around for a few years now. If it's going to work for him, now's when it's going to work. Going into, I think, year 4. Like, if he doesn't figure it out now, I think he's like 27 years old and going into year 4. If Merrill doesn't figure it out now, it's probably not going to happen. But I just think that there's, if you want to look at one guy in Summer League and say, okay, well, who's it going to be? I don't think it's Emoni Bates. I just think there's too much to learn. He doesn't play the game the right way. We told you this was going to happen. We told you he's going to go ball out in Vegas because it's set up for hoopers like him. Doesn't mean he can play within the context of the NBA. Doesn't mean he understands team basketball, because he doesn't. That's what he has to learn this year. And then let's see how this year goes. And we'll come back in a year or two and see if he can be a useful piece. I just don't see it happening right now.
So let me ask you this. Does he touch the floor this year as a Cleveland Cavalier?
Sure, possibly.
So you think
maybe.
he does get some
But
minutes?
there's a difference in getting a couple garbage time minutes and being a contributor.
Oh, I'm not talking about the contributor
yeah.
part. I'm not there either.
I mean, if I don't think he's going to start the year. He's going to start the year in Canton. He's going to play in the G League, and maybe as a reward, if he does everything the right way, if he does what they expect him to, what they want him to do, you know, at some point there's going to be injuries, there's going to be opportunities. Maybe you bring him up and give him a couple minutes just as a reward, but I'm not expecting anything of significance.
When they start like training camp,
yeah,
is he with the Cavs?
Oh yeah, he's
or
with
is
the
he
Cavs.
with Canton?
No, he's with the Cavs for
then,
the start of training camp.
And then once they break off,
and then they'll send him down.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll send him down.
Well, I'm gonna set this up and ask you this real quick. Do you think the reason people are excited about Emoni Bates is because of his game or because of his name?
His name in the high school and where he was ranked in high school. That's what has everybody so excited. If Jonathan Krause had that game the other night, would people be as excited? No. But it's because that they see the potential in him. I'm just telling you, I talked to teams that had him on their do not touch list. Like more than one team had Emoni Bates on the we aren't touching that guy. So there's a long, and that doesn't mean that he can never be a productive pro. I'm just telling you, if you're expecting him to be a contributor on this team this season, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say this. I'm a firm believer in the fact that you can surprise people. I'm going to be honest with you. When I came into the game, there was like, Tyvis know what it is. Sometimes you can come into a place and you might not even be highly heralded or nothing, right? But what you can do, you can work on your game.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do think that sometimes when things happen in your life, it wakes you up and says, okay, these people don't believe that I can do it. And there's a lot of GMs out there that may not believe in what the kid can do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you have an opportunity to show up, and he only had 3 opportunities so far, he showed me something in those 3 opportunities. His game has been different each and every game.
Yep.
And one way that I can look and say is, all right, yeah, this ain't the regular season, but every single time that you play, you have an opportunity to prove people right, or you got an opportunity to prove people wrong. Now, if I look at his game, I like his name. The name is cool. But one thing that you can't deny is when you see some of the tough shots that people have to make in the playoffs, that kid can take and shoot those shots.
Yeah, and that's what I like about him as well.
That's what I like.
I think, to be honest with you, if he's played in the Cavs game, you know, as a rookie, as a second-round pick, there's guys out there that might be like nervous or timid. I don't think he'd be that at all. I think he'd take that ball and he'd shoot it. As soon as Darius or somebody gave it to him, he'd letting it fly.
Oh, he'd shoot it.
Be quiet.
And you said, but here's the thing. I think the ceiling, people because they compared him to Durant, they're like, oh, no. If you compare him to J.R. Smith.
That's what I said.
J.R. Smith, if you look at it, he's a high school guy, came out really touted. He's made some bonehead. He took bad shots. But guess what? As time went on, he got with the right people. He got under LeBron. He learned to be a more valuable defensive player, and he learned to shoot.
And you know how long it took him? About 12 years and 4 teams to get there. And he was a first-round pick.
And
like
still,
a high first-round
He
pick.
still messed up in a finals game.
And forgot to score.
Yeah. But he's the champion.
But
I digress.
and to the question you asked Tyvis about, like, comparing it to training camp, in training camp you have actual NFL players. Summer League, I mean, you have high first-round picks, obviously, but 85% of guys in Summer League are never going to be actual contributors in an NBA game. They're going to be in the G League. They're going to be in Europe. They're going to be out of basketball. So it's really hard to compare. Yeah, the step-back shot that he hit was great. Now make that shot when Kevin Durant's guarding you. It's a completely different.
We get that.
You can't compare what he's doing in Vegas to what happens in an NBA game because the talent on the floor, the speed of the game moves so much faster in the NBA as compared to Summer League, and just the overall talent, and it's just it's an impossible comparison to make.
The things that when I watch Emoni Bates, it's not the shot. We know he got the shot. I like his step back move. I know that's there. What I want him to do is he got to get stronger. He got to get some more bounce in his jump because for you to be 6'9" and you barely getting up there, that's a problem to me. And I think he just needs to be stronger on defense because there's sometimes that he's not afraid to put his body in there, but they like throwing him out the way as well. And I don't like that part either. I mean, you going up against guys like you might switch off and have to check LeBron, or you might have to switch off and have to check Giannis for a play or something like that, and they could just back you down and knock you out the way. Obviously, there's no point in you being out there. So I think that he needs to get stronger, and he needs to, basically should get stronger and get some more bounce in his game.
He will get stronger.
Yeah, I mean that's going to come. He's, 19? Yeah,
this is the only time I'll ever use Giannis and Emoni Bates in the same
There
sentence.
you go. Go ahead and get to it.
But look at
disrespect.
Look at Giannis's rookie year.
Despicable that you even could say this.
The jersey was hanging off his bones.
Use Kevin Durant.
I mean, he's 19. He's got so much growing yet to do. They get him in the training program, strength and conditioning program. He is going to get bigger. I don't know about the balance. I think that is what it is at this point. Guys,
you can get
plyometrics.
I say you can get some bounce.
Guys don't become high flyers.
No, I ain't saying that, but he got to be a little bit better than that. A little bit better.
You got to get you on some plyometrics, bro. Like here's I'm gonna just keep it real with you. I can see that what I look at is upside. I believe that in the NBA, if you got somebody that's a hard worker and a nice solid guy, yeah, you can contribute. But what's your ceiling? I'm looking for ceiling guys in the second round.
Absolutely.
I need to do, even if you ain't no good, I'm going to take a flyer. Like, put it to you like this. Non-traditional dudes like Lofton. Kenneth Lofton, I liked him coming out of Louisiana Tech. He's undersized. He's about 6'4". But at the end of the day, they found a good value pick in a guy. He was undrafted. Ended up scoring 42 points at the end of the year. He's a guy that they're investing in, and they're working with him slowly. So for me, I like these types of moves, and I like the fact that I want the Cavs to be the guardians of the NBA. I want them to be able to find some of these second-round guys and develop them so you don't have to pay Max Strus $84 million or whatever. Maybe you can find your own guy and keep him in 60, okay, right? But, to me, I just think that he's shown me growth the first 3 games. I'm going to continue to see some growth. Now, here's the thing. That 21.
I just want the Cavs to have somebody that they developed that they can play in the playoffs because Dean Wade was not – he fell out. Said he came in, but, it wasn't what you thought he would be. And Lamar Stevens didn't give you anything either. So you had these guys who contributed during the season, but once playoff came and you needed a bucket from somebody outside of Darius, Donovan, or your core 4, you didn't have anybody. And I think that's what Emoni Bates – that's why everybody's excited about Emoni Bates because he does hit those tough shots. Hold on before you go. I need to address one thing because I took a peep in the chat. The reason I'm wearing a leg sleeve is because my knee was hurting this morning. That's the reason that I'm wearing the leg sleeve. So all y'all in the chat
Tyvis came in there ready to hoop.
With what y'all talking about right now.
They got the T-Mac sleeve on.
I'm 29. I done played football. My knee is hurting, so I had to put a sleeve on to keep it compressed.
But let me ask you this question. You know what?
I was in Vegas all weekend. I need 2 of those in the back brace and the neck brace.
Yeah, my knee is killing me this morning.
I had something coming to mind. I'm leaving it alone. But let me ask you this. Look, I think people is also thirsty because we got Isaac Okoro. He's a 5th overall pick. And besides defense, he can't do nothing better than Emoni Bates. Tell me he can't.
Wait a minute. He had a nice stint where he was going crazy. He had a game-winning trade. Look, that don't move the D.
I would take Isaac Okoro over Emoni.
Nah, I ain't taking him. No.
I can't believe I
right.
Right now,
I don't know. I don't know about that one, Jason. That's tough.
I am not taking Isaac
I'm
Okoro.
by no means an Okoro.
And you are not an Okoro fan. But I'm saying this: the only thing now you can look at it.
That's tough.
That's why fans be excited. Because the things that we miss so much, when you see them dudes open in the corner, when you see Lamar Stevens in the corner, you're like, oh, hell no. Like when you see Okoro pulling up,
I was good for a while. He had like a good 3 weeks where he was locked in.
He's a better shooter.
Bates is by far a better shooter.
He has more length. I don't know if he can use it right now because he get bullied. Isaac Okoro by far is a way better defender. He has he's more equipped his body.
Let me ask you this question. Is Emoni Bates and Sam Merrill the best 11 and 12 players on the Cavs roster currently?
I don't know. I got to go through the list. I guess I'll get around to answering that. But Strus is your starting
You had to look
three.
at the watch.
It's buzzing. I was trying to see what it was.
The five is you throw Strus in, he's starting, right?
Strus is your starting three.
Okay.
So we know who the other 4.
Yeah, we got
Strus is your 5.
Okay, so we got 5.
Karis LeVert off the bench.
That's 6.
Yang off the bench.
7.
That's 7. Rubio, I think, is going to get first opportunity.
Yep.
Is 8.
Yep.
I guess Okoro and Dean Wade become 9 and 10.
9 and 10. So you got 2 spots.
But you also, who the other center we just got?
Yeah, he's not going to play.
But is he going to take up a roster spot?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's 11.
So that's 11. So if you had to give one of them the spot, you giving it to Sam.
Well, you got 2-way contracts and still, and there's
So he got a 2-way deal, and I think somebody else there's Isaiah Mobley got a 2-way deal.
Yeah, and
I forgot about him.
I haven't asked anyone about Isaiah in quite a while, but when they signed him, the feeling around the league was, well, that's just a favor to Evan. He's not an NBA
I told
player.
him, I said,